Hello, good morning. This is Sir Dave, and today we're gonna talk about budget line or the budget constraints. So last time, if you can still remember, we've talked about indifference curve and how consumer makes choices based on their taste and preferences. Today, iba yung pag-uusapan natin. We're gonna talk about the budget and income and how does this affect the consumer preferences or the consumer's choices. So I know you can agree to this that tayo bilang tao, we would like to increase the quantity or the quality of the goods that we consume. Di ba? Gusto nating mas mahabang bakasyon. Gusto natin na magkaroon ng at least more than one na kotse. Gusto nating magkaroon ng maraming gadgets, di ba? Or gusto nating kumain ng marami at kumain ng masasarap na pagkain sa mga mamahaling restaurant, di ba? Pero people consume less than we or than they desire because their spending is constrained. So bakit sinasabi na our spending, we want more but our spending is constrained? It is because of we are being limited by our income. So for today, we're going to begin our study of consumer choice by examining the link between income and spending of this teacher. Okay, I have here the teacher. Yan. Okay? So to keep things simple, we are gonna examine the decision facing this teacher who buys only two goods. The espresso frappuccino and the ham and cheese Danish of Starbucks. Ayan. Ba, ang sarap? Well, of course, ba, real people buy thousands of different goods. Ba? Sobrang dami nating pwedeng bilhin. But, if we are gonna assume that there are only two goods, we can greatly simplify the problem without altering the basic insights about the consumer choices. Again, for today, we're gonna assume or picture a world wherein there's only two goods. And that is the espresso frappuccino from Starbucks and the ham and cheese Danish that they also offer. Yeah. So I have here a table in the left side of the screen, no? Wherein, nakalagay dyan, that this teacher, who is me, I don't know if kung kamukha ko yan, the budget that I have per week is 2,000 pesos. Okay? And the price of the espresso frappuccino here is 200 pesos. And this ham and cheese Danish, 100 pesos yung presyo niya. This is not accurate kasi based on yung huli kong kain sa Starbucks and inom ng coffee sa Starbucks, 170 pesos ang espresso frappuccino and 90 pesos yung ham and cheese Danish. So yun yung nilagay kong presyo kasi yan yung madaling computein mamaya. So yun. And let's simplify the names of these products. Okay? Instead of espresso frappuccino, let's use coffee instead. Mas maiksi, diba? Instead of ham and cheese Danish, ang arte, di ba? Let's just use bread instead. So based on the income that I have per week, which is 2,000 pesos, and assuming that I can only buy two goods in this world, and these are the coffee and the bread, and the price of coffee is 200, and the price of bread is 100. Gaano kaya karaming kape ang pwede kong mabili sa 2,000 pesos that I have per week? So if the coffee is 200 pesos, I can buy 10 coffee. If I'm gonna buy 10 coffee, I can no longer buy a bread. Kasi syempre, inubos ko na dun sa kape. Ngayon, kung ubusin ko naman yung pera ko to buy a bread, or breads, diba? Sa 2,000 pesos, ilan yung mabibili kong ham and cheese Danish? Kung 100 pesos ang isa, I can buy 20. Ang dami. Yes, 20. Busog-busog. Yan. Pero yun nga lang, pag 20 yung binili ko, I can no longer buy myself any cups of coffee. So yan, yan yung mga, we're gonna list down the possible combination bundles or consumption bundles that I can consume, assuming that I only have 2,000 pesos per week. So, paano naman kapag gustuhin kong isa lang na kape ang bilhin per week? That cost me 200 pesos. Ilan kayang bread ang pwede kong mabili? Base doon sa natira kong budget. So, from yung 2,000, babawasan 200, matitira na lang 1,800. Kung 100 ang bread, I can buy 18. Kapag bumili ko ng isa pang coffee, so 1,600 na lang, magiging 16. And for us to, go through this fast, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16, 14, 12, 10, and 8, hanggang sa pababa. And since economists love graphs, diba? For us to better understand the concept of budget line and budget constraints, we are to plot this coordinates or combinations or consumption bundles into a graph. So I have prepared here on the other side a graph wherein we can plot our consumption bundles for coffee and bread given that my budget per week is only 2,000 pesos. Okay? So ngayon, if you're gonna plot the coordinates doon based on the table that we had kanina or the schedule that we had kanina, we can come up with a table or a graph that looks like this. Pag pinlat natin siya, you can validate this on your paper. Pwede. Wait. Ayan, we can plot this one. Wait, ayaw nyo makisama. Yan. Yan. Oh. Ayan. Yan. Now, this is your budget line. Bakit? Bakit yan yung sinabi kong budget line? Any points that lie in here, kung mapapansin nyo kanina, we've created consumption bundles, right? Lahat yun, maglalay dito within the budget line. Okay? Ayan yun. So, we have point A here. B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Point K. Lahat ng naglalay na points from point A to point K are the possible consumption bundles that we can come up if the budget that we have per week is 2,000 pesos and the price of coffee is 200 and 100. So the budget line describes the limit of consumption possibilities depending on the consumer's budget, okay, and the price of goods and services. So ngayon, if this is the budget line, lahat ng points that will lie in here or that lies in here beyond the budget line, lahat ng andito are impossible consumption bundles. Meaning, hindi natin afford lahat ng combinations na nandito sa sinedan ko. Lahat naman ng points that lie below the budget line, afford natin yon. Kaya natin yon mabili, may matitira pa tayo from our budget. Pero if you want to maximize the budget that we have, then lahat ng combination na nandito, na naglalay dito sa budget line, yun yung pwede nating mga pagpilian. Okay? So that is the concept of budget line. Now, here's the question. What will happen to the budget line if nadagdagan yung budget ko per week ng additional 2,000 pesos? What will happen if there is a change in income? Remember that when the budget increases, the consumption possibilities expand. Meaning, this budget line can shift to the right. Okay? Kapag naman yung budget or the income that we can get decreases, okay? Opposite will happen. The opposite will happen. It will shift the budget line to the left. Meaning, bumaba yung ability natin to purchase more. The consumption possibilities shrink and the budget line shifts inward. Okay? So ngayon, here's another question. Always remember that if there's a change in income or budget, it shifts either to the left or to the right the budget line. Kapag tumaas ang budget, the budget line shifts to the right. Kapag bumaba, the budget line shifts to the left. Ano naman ang mangyayari kapag yung presyo nitong bread nagmura from 100 pesos naging 50 pesos? What will happen to the budget line? So I'll give you 5 seconds to, nakakabulol. 5 seconds to think. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. So ngayon, anong mangyayari kapag nagmura yung bread from 100 to 50? What will happen to this? To this budget line? It will rotate itself upward. So paano yan yung magiging itsura nun, sir? So ito, burahin natin to para madali natin maintindihan. Let's erase this one as well. Notice that this budget line, sabi ko kanina, it can rotate itself upward kapag nagmura yung presyo ng tinapay. So ano magiging itsura nun? Ganito. Okay? Assuming that we can buy more of the bread, dahil nga nagmura, gantong magiging itsura. From point here, magiging ganyan na siya. From here, galing dito, eto na ngayon yung bagong budget line. Kasi nga, nadoble yung kakayanan nating bumili ng bread dahil nagmura ng 50% tong presyo ng bread. So, again, remember that if there's a price change for the product, diba, magbabago din yung budget line. It can rotate the budget line upward. Habang lumalaki nagmumura yung produkto dito sa x-axis or even dito sa y-axis, magbabago yung budget line. Okay? Always remember that. Now, in here, makikita natin yung application ng opportunity cost. Okay? So, saan? Remember that a price of the coffee is twice as much the price of the bread. Meaning, for you to be able to buy additional coffee, you have to give up one bread. Two breads. Kasi nga, 100 pesos yung bread, 200 pesos tong coffee. For you to get another cup of coffee, you have to give up 2 breads para mabili mo yung additional coffee. So in the budget line, consuming more of one good implies consuming less of the other good. It shows the concept of opportunity cost. And dito. And tell us what the consumer must give up to get one more unit of a good. Okay, for us, sabi nga kanina, if the price of coffee is 200 and if it is twice as much the price of bread, therefore, para makuha mo yung additional unit of this, you have to give up 2 breads. And this 2 here is the slope of the budget constraint. So what is the slope of the budget constraint? So the slope of the budget constraint measures the rate at which the consumer can trade one good for the other. If you can still recall, in your math class, when you say slope, it is the rise over run, no? Para madali nyo maintindihan, it's the rise over run. The slope between 2 points is, we're gonna calculate that as the change in the vertical distance divided the change in the horizontal distance. So madali lang din siyang tingnan if you're gonna follow what I've said here. Ito yung example ko dito. So in here, for you to be able to get another coffee, you have to give up 2 breads. And then, vice versa, if you're gonna give up a coffee, you can get additional 2 breads. And in budget line, hindi lang dito pinapakita yung concept of income and the budget. Pinapakita rin dito yung concept or application ng trade-offs and opportunity cost. For you to get another good or to enjoy or to consume another good, you have to give up a portion of the other good. Okay? Kailangan nyo tandaan na in the budget line, consuming more of one good implies consuming less of the other good. Diba? And if that is the case, that is the application or of the opportunity cost. I hope you've been able to understand kung yung how budget and income affects our choices when it comes to consumption, buying and consumption. Okay? We desire more, ba? Gusto natin ng mas madami, but there's something that limits us for us to have them all or to have more. And that is the concept of the budget line or the budget or the income. We can only be able to increase our capability to buy if tataas yung income natin or budget natin at a specific period of time. Okay? And if that happens, the budget line shifts to the right. Okay? Always remember that. And kung bumaba yung income natin, the budget line tends to shift to the left. And that sums up the concept of budget line or the budget constraint.